Avatar: The Way of Water is finally here, but how does it stack up to the original? And given how much time has passed, how does it fare on its own, especially for people who may not have seen the first film? In this spoiler-free review, I'll detail my thoughts on James Cameron's sequel ahead of the release this weekend, only mentioning specific details that have already been shown in trailers. First and foremost, Avatar: The Way of Water is visually stunning. The version I saw was in 3D and screened at 48 FPS. The higher frame rate does give it that true motion kind of soap opera feel, but you get used to it pretty quickly, and most theaters will be showing the normal 24 FPS version anyway. The 3D is nice, and the new technology gives it a step up from the 3D of the original Avatar, but it doesn't really add anything to the movie. A lot of people felt that you really needed to see the first film in 3D to get the full experience, but that is not the case with The Way of Water. James Cameron continues to get the most out of his actors. These are some of the best performances of Sam Worthington and Stephen Lang's career, with much of the supporting cast really giving it their all. The sequel basically picks up right where the first movie left off, but there's enough backstory to catch people up if either you haven't seen the first movie or if it's been a while and you've forgotten some important plot points. I would still recommend watching the first movie so it's fresh in your mind going into The Way of Water, but it's definitely not necessary. Without spoiling anything, the story as a whole is better than the first Avatar. It's not perfect, but if you didn't like the first film, depending on why you didn't like it, there's a pretty decent chance you'll still enjoy The Way of Water. Given how closely the plot of the first movie felt to films like Fern Gully and Pocahontas, I personally thought it was only lackluster at best. Sorry, I know a lot of people really loved the first Avatar, but I did enjoy The Way of Water much more. It's certainly not a unique story, and the motivations of the main antagonist are fairly weak. But despite this, it still works extremely well, and has me actually looking forward to Avatar 3. With a runtime of 3 hours and 12 minutes, this is a very, very long movie. However, the length allows James Cameron to really dig in and explore the world of Pandora, fleshing out the sea tribes this time around. At times, it almost feels like a TV series because you spend so much time just building the world and the relationships between characters. Usually these are the finer details that a 2-hour movie would skip over or cut short to allow for better pacing, but with over 3 hours to work with, you get a lot more of those details. That said, you can easily cut 30 minutes or more from The Way of Water, and it wouldn't change the film in any kind of significant manner. For those who really love the world of Pandora and all that it has to offer, you'll certainly appreciate the extended runtime. Anyone just looking to enjoy a movie and move on with their day may feel it dragging on a bit, especially once it crosses that 2-hour mark and before it reaches the finale. The first movie felt like a complete film that wasn't really setting up a sequel. Sure, there were little hooks and certainly more ways to explore the world of Pandora, but you didn't really feel as though anything was missing. With The Way of Water, you know James Cameron is setting up the other sequels. There's a clear path forward that wasn't really present in the original film. While that doesn't limit what's shown in The Way of Water, it feels almost like a Marvel movie in that you know the story isn't done even after sitting through a 3-hour film. It feels more like only a part of the story instead of the whole story like we got in the first movie. There's still a beginning, middle, and end, but it's clear that this isn't the true ending, even if you didn't know Cameron already has several more films planned. Overall, if you enjoyed the first Avatar, you will like The Way of Water. The sequel is superior to the first film in many ways, and it manages to change things up just enough to make it feel like a somewhat unique experience, even though it's clearly not. For Nerd Doc, I give Avatar: The Way of Water 4 out of 5 Na'vi. Thank you for watching. Once you've seen the movie, let me know what you thought of it in the comments. And as a quick note for those with families, there are some moments that surprisingly straddle the line between PG-13 and R, and if this wasn't animated, it would probably have an R rating. Just a quick warning for anyone with kind of younger children.